Okay, imagine for a moment you're thinking about Jamaica. You know, the vibrant culture, the music, and maybe a certain famous herb probably springs to mind pretty quickly.
Right, most people connected purely with the island. And, well, for good reason.
But what if I told you its story stretches back way further, like across an entire ocean to ancient India?
Hmm.
Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, how Indian workers, through this process called the Ganja Diaspora, actually profoundly shaped Jamaican cannabis culture.
Yeah, our mission here is really to unpack this incredible story. It's often untold.
Totally.
We're going to trace the journey of this plant, its traditions, all the way from ancient India to the Caribbean. And we'll see how it became such a cornerstone of Jamaican identity.
It sounds like there are some surprising connections we need to explore.
Oh, definitely. Facts that link these two cultures that, on the surface, seem worlds apart.
So for this deep dive, we're drawing on some excerpts titled Ganja Diaspora, India's Gift to Jamaican Cannabis Culture, provided by Nug Notes.
That's our source material today.
Now, like we said, you hear Jamaican ganja. You probably don't immediately picture India.
Not usually, no.
But that's where it gets
Yeah.
really, really interesting.
Right.
How did this ancient Indian tradition find such a powerful new home thousands of miles away?
Well, to really get that, you first have to understand just how deep cannabis roots run in India itself. It wasn't just
Yeah.
there.
Right.
Our sources point out it was integral to Indian life for, get this, over 3,000 years.
3,000 years. Wow, that's an incredible length of time.
Yeah.
What does that tell us about its importance there, more than just like casual use?
Oh, absolutely. It tells us it was deeply woven into the fabric of society, a living tradition.
Mm.
The key thing here is its foundational role in spiritual practices, in daily life. It showed up in different forms, too. There was ganja, the flower tops, usually smoked,
Okay.
and bang, which is more of a leaf-based drink.
Ah, okay. I've heard of bang.
Right. Both were used in rituals, medicine, just everyday life. This deep embedding, this cultural significance. That's what gave it the sort of resilience to travel.
So it had this profound, almost sacred meaning in India. But how does it make that leap across the ocean to Jamaica? That seems like the huge question.
Exactly. And this is where history takes a really pivotal turn. After slavery was abolished in 1838, British planters in the Caribbean had a massive problem,
Labor shortage, right?
a severe labor shortage for their sugarcane fields. So they looked east, towards India.
Okay.
And on May 10th, 1845, a ship called the SS Blundell arrives in Jamaica. It's carrying the first 261 Indian indentured workers.
The very first group.
Just the beginning. Between then and 1917, something like 36,000 Indian workers were brought to the island. A huge number.
36,000. And they brought something else with them, didn't they? Something hidden.
They absolutely did. Tucked away very carefully, sometimes in cloth bundles, maybe even inside cooking tins, were cannabis seeds.
Wow. Can you just imagine these tiny little seeds carried so far, holding an entire cultural legacy? It's kind of amazing. What happened when they actually got to Jamaica? Did they plant them right away?
They didn't stay hidden for long, that's for sure. Once they were settled, these Indian workers started cultivating ganja, right there, in the yards near their barracks, on the little plots of land they had on the estates.
So growing it right where they lived and worked?
Exactly. And initially, they used it in ways familiar to them from back home, making fever tea, creating rubs for joint pain.
Practical stuff.
Very practical. And of course, for their evening chillum pipes. That's a traditional conical pipe for smoking.
So it wasn't just about recreation, it was health, social ritual, right from the beginning. Did that help it spread, you think? The fact that it had these, like, practical uses?
Precisely. Its usefulness, its perceived benefits, definitely helped it diffuse. It didn't take long before the plant's, let's say, unique properties started to attract attention from their Afro-Jamaican neighbors.
People working alongside them on the same estates.
Exactly. Working together, living nearby. This led to a really organic cultural exchange. It wasn't planned, it just happened.
That makes sense.
And by the late 1800s, the influence was so clear that Hindi words like ganja itself, chillum for the pipe, tambu, these started becoming part of Jamaican patois.
Wow, becoming part of the actual language.
Yeah, that rich, unique blend spoken on the island. It really showed the herb was getting popular way beyond just the Indian community.
That's fascinating how that shared experience, shared labor, could forge these unexpected links. Not just the plant, but the words, the practices.
It really speaks to how culture moves, doesn't it? Especially under difficult circumstances.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. As soon as ganja started to really take root culturally, spread out, it caught the eye of the British colonial authorities.
All right, here we go. It feels like a familiar story, doesn't it? Something starts to resonate with the local people, and the powers that be get nervous.
Predictably, yes.
Yeah.
Alarm grew pretty quickly about ganja spreading among the wider population. So the British passed Jamaica's first specific cannabis law in 1913.
Okay, 1913. What was the aim of that law? Just restriction.
It was quite targeted, actually. It imposed taxes and licenses specifically designed to hit the Indian small growers hard, and also to deter Afro-Jamaicans from adopting it more widely.
So trying to suppress it economically and culturally.
A clear attempt to curb its growing popularity, yeah.
But despite that crackdown, obviously the story didn't end there. In fact, things got even more interesting than the 1930s and 40s, right? With its spiritual adoption.
Yes, this is a really pivotal period. This is where ganja gets deeply connected with the emerging Rastafari movement.
How did that happen?
Well, our sources point to Indo-Jamaican elders, people like a Hindu priest named Lalu, influencing some of the early Rasta leaders. There was this profound exchange happening.
A direct influence.
Seems.
Yes.
And through that, ganja was kind of reinterpreted, reimagined spiritually. It became the wisdom weed.
The wisdom weed.
Yes, sacred sacrament. Essential for meditation, a symbol of resistance against the system, and really important for community reasoning sessions.
So it's not just a plant being passed along anymore. It's an ancestral practice being woven into a whole new belief system that's emerging. That's quite a transformation.
It really is. And if you think about the bigger picture, it became this incredibly powerful tool for identity, for resistance, especially in that challenging colonial context.
Right. It was more than just the effects of the plant. It was meaning, community.
Exactly. It offered spiritual insight, unity, a connection to a heritage adopted, yes, but deeply felt for a community looking for liberation and self-definition.
And this whole process, this ganja diaspora, it wasn't just Jamaica, was it? This was happening elsewhere, too.
That's absolutely right. Those indentured Indian workers, they also introduced cannabis to other places where they were sent. Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname, even as far as Fiji.
Wow, same pattern.
Very similar patterns, yeah. You see similar cultural fusions happening and often similar colonial bands following close behind. It echoed the Jamaican experience in many ways.
But there's something special about the Jamaican legacy, isn't there? It seems particularly strong.
It really stands out. By the middle of the 20th century, ganja in Jamaica wasn't just present, it was central. Central to reggae music, which took it global. Central to the lives of hillside farmers, and absolutely core to Rastafari rituals and identity. Those deep roots, they're tangled up directly with those Indian migrants and their ancient traditions. It created something new, powerful, and world-famous.
So really, what started as tiny seeds hidden on a ship kind of became the backbone of Jamaica's global herb culture. It's quite a journey, from ship to swift, you might say.
Huh. Yeah, you could put it that way. It's a remarkable story of cultural fusion, resilience. The roots of Jamaican ganja culture, they're not just in the Caribbean soil. They reach back across the ocean to ancient India, brought to life through generations, sharing, adapting, resisting.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? This whole story of the ganja diaspora.
Yeah.
How many other parts of our global culture have these kinds of surprising hidden origins?
It's a great question.
It kind of invites you to question the stories you think you know, to dig a bit deeper into how interconnected we all really are. So the thought to leave you with is, what other cultural things out there might have completely unexpected roots just waiting for us to uncover them?